Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the Mr. Fix-It channel. Working on the juju.
I was sitting out there in the shed one evening, not doing too much of nothing, just kind of staring at the wall. And
Alright, let's start connecting all this stuff. Horn blows, does the driver? Alright, there is the turn signals wired, the horn wired, the brake light wired, the dash lights wired, the running lights wired. Is there anything else? I think that's it. I can't believe that horn even works. Well, the battery's about dead again, but brake light. Alright, I think that's it. Now I just gotta wrap this spaghetti nightmare up, make it look somewhat presentable. Headlights wired up. Alright, I think I got somewhere today. Alright. the acid etching done. It's looking not so bad. Not so bad. Kind of hard to see in there with all that glare, but yeah, tank's looking good on the inside now. Alright, so I let that soak for I don't know how many hours, 18 hours. Took forever, but I think the tank's clean enough. There's a little bit right there. Wonder if I should soak it longer. I think I'm gonna play it on the safe side and etch it a little longer and try to get that little bit of rust right there removed. And there's still some around the spout there. So I'm gonna seal this tank back up, dump that stuff back in here, try to get this completely clean. Alright, after soaking this tank in the part A, which is the acid, it's phosphoric acid, looking pretty good in here. It's probably been 24 hours. Just kept rotating the tank around because there wasn't enough liquid to fill the whole tank to the top. But it's looking pretty good in there. So I've got as much of the water out of it that I can get as far as shaking it. And then the next part is to put this in. This will dry up the remaining water in there and prep the tank for the sealer. Okay. So I'm going to dump this in, seal it back up, roll it all around, shake it, slosh it, do all that. Dump this out, let it dry, and then I can put this stuff in. Well, I don't know what I did wrong. I put this stuff in there, shook it around, and now it's all rusted again. Wow. Okay, well I got to figure this out now. Alright, so I used part A again for like 20 minutes. It cleaned all that flash rust back out of there. This time I'm not going to let the tank dry at all. I'm just going to pour part B right in. Yeah, I saved it, so I'm going to pour it right in while the tank's still wet, slosh that around, see if that gets me any better results. Alright, much better result. Do not let the tank dry before you put in part B. Immediately put in part B after rinsing the tank. Get all the water out of it you can, throw part B in, slosh that around. Okay, now before I wait too long, I'm going to go ahead and shake this up. I got to reseal my tank. And then I got to pour this in. It says you got to roll the tank around to coat the inside. And then you open the tank, let it sit 8 to 10 minutes. And then close the tank back up, roll it around, coat the inside again, and then after that you got to set it on, open the tank back up and set it on a different side and let it sit open 8 to 10 and then repeat. And the more times you repeat that, the thicker this coating gets. Okay, got that in there. Alright, I'm going to roll this tank around, seal it up, roll it around. And just as a side note, if you're doing this to a tank that has paint on it that you care about, you're probably going to destroy the paint. Just so you know. Now, it doesn't say this in the instructions, but I'm not really getting it in the spout there, so I'm just going to take this little acid brush. I'm just going to brush it onto this. I don't want this to rust either. It really looks like Elmer's glue. I'm sure it's not, but it looks like it is. So I'm just going to work that into the spout there. Alright, 8 to 10 minutes. And do it all over again. Rinse and repeat. Looks like it's coating it pretty well. Man, I hope this saves this tank, at least for a little while anyway. Oh boy, so a few more rounds of this, and then it says to drain off the excess and then let it sit open for 24 hours. Yeah, it's starting to set up. It's pretty sticky, gooey stuff. Should do the trick. Well, it looks like everything got a nice coat in there. And I tell you what, this stuff smells so bad. It smells like you're inside the fingernail polish remover bottle. It's terrible. Oh man. But I'm gonna let this thing sit overnight and let that stuff cure. There's about that much left in the bottle. Drain that back into there. So if I want to do another coat after that dries, I can. Alright, so this tank's been sitting open for a couple of days because I had other things to do. And this coating is rock hard. Can't scratch it off. This stuff is very thick and very hard. So I think that did the thing. Looks like a pretty good even coating. I can see where I had some pinholes where the coating just barely started to come through, so I think it sealed all those up. See, there's one right there too. Okay, so I think the tank liner was successful. Hopefully it lasts for a while. Down in there. So it still kind of smells a little bit, but I think it's cured. The next thing I want to mess with, here's the fuel level sender, and I did electrolysis on this. It's been a while ago, and you can see how this is just rusted back up. So I need to de-rust this again and coat this. I'm not sure what I want to coat it with. I got this wire in here, which I can't coat that. Maybe I can desolder that wire there, pull this out. This arm is staked in, and there's some copper pieces in here to make contact. If I can get this arm off and desolder this wire and get this out of here, I can derust this again in the acid, and then maybe I can coat it with the tank liner too and put it back together and get this derusted. So I want to work on that. Alright, if you can see, this arm has been mushroomed over, kind of flattened, so that it's kind of staked and it can't come out of there. I'm going to try to squeeze that metal back. If I can get this back through the hole, I can get this arm off of here. I'm going to try. Let's see what happens. If I had 3 hands, I would hold something on there like a punch, and I can strike it a lot harder, but for some odd reason I only have 2 hands. Let me see, let me get that screw loose. Let me try just squeezing it in this vise. Maybe it'll do it. Getting close. Let me try squeezing it in a bigger vise. It's almost there. Still got like a little burr on it somewhere it's catching. Otherwise it's just about to come through. Alright, let me mess with this for a minute. I'm pretty sure I can get this out of here. So give me just a minute and I'll come back. So close. It's a little file here. I'll take those little burrs off. I don't want to remove material because I need to, peen that back over so it'll lock it back in once I go to put it back together. So I'm just trying to take the little burrs off with this file. I'm not actually trying to make it smaller. Struggling. Trying not to damage these delicate little parts in here. So close. Ah, got it. There's the little wiper arm. And then there's this little brass, I think it's brass, maybe copper, little brass piece here, kind of like a spring. This is where it grounds through this. Okay, now I need to disconnect this wire. Probably right here would be the easiest place. Looks like it's soldered on. Hopefully I can get that solder to melt. Let me get my soldering iron plugged in. I don't know what kind of solder they used here, but I'm going to try to melt it. See if I can get this wire off of here. Not having much luck with this. Seem to be just adding more solder to it. No, I'm not having any luck. Okay, so plan B might be to just cut that wire right there and then solder it back on, because I can't get solder to stick to it, so I should be able to solder back onto it. I may just not be getting it hot enough because it's, this plate's pulling the heat out of it. I don't know. I don't want to do any irreversible damage to this because I'm trying to save it. Can't quite tell what they've done. how they have fixed that wire. It almost just looks like it's just soldered right there, but hell, who knows? The factory could have welded that on there for all I know. I don't know how they did it. Let me grab a wire brush and try to maybe clean that up a little bit. Yeah, it just looks like it's soldered on there. Try getting my tip a little bit hotter here. Oh, I got it loose. It's actually wrapped around that post. Okay, there we go. Got it. So that wire was actually wrapped around this post and soldered down. Okay, now if I can gently slide this up out of the bracket. I'm just bending this up a little bit. Ah, did I break it? This is nerve-wracking. If I break that tiny little wire right there, game's over. Trying my best to keep this in frame so you guys can see. Straighten this out enough to pull it through that hole. Ah, there it is. I really gouged that with the screwdriver. So how this works is this is nichrome wire. Nichrome wire has a specific resistance per inch, and they take this and wrap it around this insulated core, and it's grounded through the wiper. And the further this wiper gets away from this end where it's sent to the gauge, the more resistance it has, and that's how that tells the gauge how much fuel you have in it. So this is just a resistive wire. They use this in like heating elements and other types of resistors like this. This is basically just a resistor. So the further this wiper gets away, then the more resistance there is, and that's how this works. So if there's corrosion, or if it's dirt, or if this isn't making contact, your fuel gauge sender is not going to send a signal to the gauge. Okay, this wire is staked on here. I can't take this wire off. Which makes no sense because this wire is just pushed on with a spade connector. But I think I can submerge this part of it in the acid, get this derusted, along with this cover, and then I'll coat it with that tank sealer, with that cream tank sealer where this is rusted at. It seals on the gasket here, so I don't want to get any cream sealer here, just where it's rusted at. I'm just going to use a paintbrush and paint this on here. Hopefully that'll seal this up and this won't rust anymore. Ideally, you would completely strip this and re-zinc plate this, but I'm not set up to do zinc plating. I'd have to go buy zinc and acid solution and dilute it. It takes time to make the actual zinc solution. You can buy it pre-made, but I'd have to order it. I'd have to wait a week. I'm just going to try the tank sealer. If that doesn't work, there is ways to remove that tank sealer, and I can try to re-zinc this in the future. But this is what I'm doing now. So just so you know, you can re-zinc this stuff at home with basic stuff, using electrolysis process. Alright, here goes the first 2 gallons. Hopefully we don't leak all over my bench. See a leak already. Coming out of the petcock. It's actually the spout to the petcock is leaking. Let me find something to plug that off with. Okay, let me mop up this gas leak and we'll continue adding fuel. So it looks like this has got a vacuum petcock on it. So it looks like that thing needs a little bit of work done to it. Alright, there's 2 gallons in. So far it seems to be holding. So we'll put at least 2 gallons in it. Alright, very cool. I'll have to get it topped all the way off, check the rest of the tank, but so far so good. There, I got the leak fixed. I didn't film it, but I took this apart with the gas in it, and I had to hold it. Anyway, there was some rusty debris in the O-ring to the vacuum diaphragm there. So once I clean that out, no more leaks. So good to go. Well guys, that's all the time I got for this project this week. So if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, consider subscribing, don't be afraid to fix it. Thanks for watching.